Alright, so this video is on Jeff Ritter, who works through Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. This man, he was supposed to be trying to get me a lawyer. He was supposed to be trying to help me to get one of those. His testimony could have made a difference in court if he had made one. But he didn't, because he knows what he did is wrong. According to what his boss said, and yes, I have his boss recorded on video here on YouTube too. He overstepped his bounds by doing that. Then, by the time I talked to his boss, I can't go to Colorado because I've got warrants out. Warrants out for speaking out against the police. The police who refused to take a report at any point in time. Amanda Jonas, the day that I went to meet her, I was supposed to be making a police report about the assault at the hospital by officers. A situation that she took part in. She should never have been the investigator in that case. It was a conflict of interest. The same thing with Officer Burke having access to assault me after Natalie died because he didn't do his goddamn job! He's one of at least 15 officers. Between when I left Virginia and when Natalie died, at least 15 officers refused to do their goddamn jobs! At least 15 times that I could have had it documented, the things that Tim Beeson was doing, and Matty Boa, and these fucking meth heads. At least 15 times these officers could have documented this, and I could have defended myself in court. But because these officers refused. Because these officers refused. My name was slandered worldwide. Everything in my life was taken from me. People who are out on the streets, most of us are out here because nobody fucking cares. My dad could have done something 22 goddamn years ago. My entire life, my dad has listened a grand total of once. While I was at Shannon Alvarado's, praying to God that there was some place that I didn't have to listen to Shannon streaming every fucking day. Where she wasn't asking me to do things, and then getting drunk and needing attention and preventing me from doing the things that she wanted me to do. Where I couldn't make the phone calls that I needed to make during the day because she was afraid of getting her kids taken away. I have to talk to the goddamn cops. I can't do that in Starbucks. I can't do that at Sally Treon's house. I can't do that at Shannon Alvarado's house or my dad's fucking house. I couldn't do that at Candace's house. It's not that I wasn't fucking trying. I tried to do that at Todd's house. Todd's like, you can't fucking call the cops from my house. Todd stayed so fucked up on Special K that even though I let him know when I got out of jail that I had been assaulted by police officers, it didn't register in his head. 3 months later, he's like, oh, you were assaulted by police? We should have said something. Dude, you were fucked up on ketamine. And being abusive to Chloe Pachovas, your girlfriend. And screaming at the top of your fucking lungs. No matter what we did, it wasn't what you wanted, so you fucking screamed at us. Meanwhile, I'm pissed off because I didn't get the help that I needed. I was jumping through all the hoops that these people wanted me to jump through. Well, they took away everything from me. I literally had no option but to break the law. I had no goddamn money. I had nobody to go in with me to talk to the police. Miss Peaches, the one time that she went in with me to talk to the police, it was 4 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. That's the one time she made time. The one time. She's like, we offered. Yeah, that's right, you fucking offered, but did you fucking follow through? What the fuck would make you think that at 4 o'clock in the evening that these goddamn people are gonna want to do their fucking jobs? They just want to go home, Peaches. At least you were there to listen to their excuses why they couldn't. You gotta make an appointment. But then I needed Miss Peaches to let me know when she was available so I could make that appointment so she could go in with me. Every time I went to talk to the cops, I had to go in alone. Every goddamn time. Until Molly Smith, thank goodness for Molly Smith. But she can't help me because I got warrants in Nebraska for speaking out against other cops who wouldn't do their goddamn jobs before Natalie died. I didn't want to go to the cops. I didn't go to the cops about Natalie until Natalie threatened me with the cops. Before that, I was trying to talk to the cops about the things that people were doing, about the rumors that were started by Natalie, who didn't want to be honest with her goddamn mom. This should have all come out in court. At least one public pretender should have fucking at least looked at the goddamn evidence. They should have requisitioned the fucking tapes from these places, but they didn't. Did they? Of course they didn't. They get paid by the same fucking state as the judge and the cops. You fucking bastards. So Jeff Ritter was supposed to be helping me get a lawyer. That proves that I was trying to get legal help. I was trying to get an honest day in court. I wasn't stalking anyone. I was trying to find a peaceful solution to me being fucking assaulted and not being allowed to see my loved ones. Meanwhile, did Natalie get to see her loved ones? Did she get to see her sister? Did she get to see her brother? Did she get to see her mom? Did she get to go see her friends? Did she get to go out and do fun things with people? Did she get to go to college? Was she able to work? Was she being assaulted? The police wouldn't talk to any goddamn witnesses. Right now, there's a woman named Liz Gallardi. She sent me a friend request when Natalie first disappeared. She's supposed to be a reporter. She's not interested in the fucking truth. She's not any more a reporter than Jennifer Dejowski is. Or Mike Boudet. These people aren't reporters, they're fucking slander artists for cash. Meanwhile, the real story is a lot juicier than the fucking fiction they told. They only looked at one side. They only listened to the cop's side. They only printed the cop's side. The only words of mine that were ever printed were the ones where people went out of their way to twist it out of fucking context. To try to paint me as a bad guy. If you're gonna print it all. Instead of it being 7 assaults that I needed to show in December of 2017 and 30 threats against my life I needed to show in 2017. It became hundreds of unreported incidents. Hundreds! And every step of the way, people like Peaches could have stepped forward and let their voice be heard instead of cowering. Tabby could have come forward. Graham could have come forward. Maddie could have come forward. Alicia could have come forward. God damn you! Kill me! Jeff Ritter. He did wrong. That's why he won't come forward. That's why he won't contact me back or talk to me. He knows he did wrong. He had his boss call me to cover his ass. That was one of the 3 therapists that I was seeing before Natalie died. Over the shit that these people put me through. Over not being able to see my loved ones. The only people that I could see were in Chapel, Nebraska. It was Aunt B talking about fucking poop for hours on end and being negative nonstop, and then every once in a while saying, oh, in Jesus' name I need to stop being so negative, and go right back to the negative talking and the talking about shit. Or Laura Nelson, who's got a fucking shit ton of her own problems, so I go there to talk to Miss Laura and let her know what's going on, and I end up listening to her. I end up being everybody's fucking therapist. Now Laura doesn't talk much. She knows I record everything. I was recording my niece's grandma while I was in her store last time I was in Chapel. Laura knew that I was recording it, so she kept her mouth shut. She also didn't tell Marie that I was recording. Jeff Ritter didn't do his job, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of people who knew I was trying to get help. They just didn't take the time to help. They didn't take the time to find out what was going on. They just wanted to spout pretty memes like that would fix it. Like, it's a pretty fucking sensitive issue when you're being called a rapist and a child molester and a stalker. You need to be fucking tactful as shit about that. If you just outright blurt it out, yeah, you might lose a fucking welcome ally that if they was to look at the evidence, they'd be like, yeah, dude, that's pretty fucked up and I'm on your side. But if you just tell them outright, they're like, dude, I don't know. Nobody wants to touch that. Nobody wants to get close to it. You were falsely accused of sexually heinous crimes. So yeah, I'm not going to help you. But I wasn't charged with them. I was just accused by people who weren't even fucking there. Jeff Ritter's boss is just as criminally negligent. Not negligent. It's not negligence when you intentionally cover up the wrongdoings of others. Jeff Ritter should have come forward, so should have Nicole Peralta. So when I have no money, because all of my money is going from one court date to another to appease the people who abused me, the people who slandered me and assaulted me, and destroyed my name worldwide so that people were threatening my life and my family's life, and nobody gave a fuck. People wanted to tell me, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Well, then fucking do something about it. Speak up for the fact that my rights were denied at every step of the way. Get me to a safe place where I'm not getting screamed at and not expected to do 10,000 things other than what I need to do. I mean, Lana, she's got a history of pulling the bullshit that she pulled up in Montana. I removed her from my life when I was in Virginia over a year before Natalie died. Lana, Amanda, all of them were out of my life. Candace was out of my life. These people were out of my life for a reason, because they fucking lied to me. And their lies harmed me. Because they chose to be racist. Because they chose to play victim. On that racist post that Tyler made about how that football player, Colin Kaepernick, should be punched in the throat by a soldier, Amanda and all them tried to play it off like I was saying that soldiers should all be killed because I was standing up for Colin Kaepernick. I said if a soldier does that to a civil rights activist, somebody should do that to that soldier. That's fair and equal treatment. That's not saying all soldiers should be fucking punched in the throat. That's saying that Tyler Frericks of Chapel, Nebraska, brother of Jennifer Frericks, And Donald Sparks, the son of Jerry Sparks, is a racist asshole. I love him, I do. He's historically been good to me. When I say I stand up for the rights of others, I mean it. I was standing up for black rights. Black rights. When they fucking pulled that bullshit. That is why me and Jerry and Tyler and Jenny and Uncle Mike and Amanda and Lanny Engeline, that's why we stopped being friends while I was in Virginia. It's because I stuck up for black rights, and they didn't like that. And Amy Valkyrie is a witness, and I have screenshots of that. Don't ask for civil rights activists to be harmed. If they'd have said, I hope a mobster punches Colin Kaepernick in the throat, I'd have said, well, then I hope somebody punches that fucking mobster in the throat. Equality. That black man is sticking up for his rights and the rights of his people. And you want to punish him for that. You want to show your true colors, Tyler Frericks. There's a lot of people that should have come forward. And them not doing so allowed this stuff to happen. Jeff Ritter's report should have been taken. Jeff Ritter should have kept his word, but he didn't. I tried everything that I could peacefully to try to get a resolution, to try to get the cops to do their jobs, to try to get Natalie and her sister and Maddie to call off the dogs. Meanwhile, they pull out the parts that they want and destroy the rest of the evidence. The Michelle Brannick thing. That needs to be opened so that everything that was typed can be shown. Everything, and the public needs to be shown it. The Bollingers destroyed my life publicly. I wasn't allowed to defend myself in public, was I? I had to make my Facebook private. So then there's all these people who are friends with the Bollingers who are on my Facebook spying for the Bollingers. I'm like, hey, you're picking and choosing the parts that make me look like a bad person. And that's all you're fucking interested in. Someone help me show the fucking truth. And fuck you, Katie Cahill. Fuck you, you're a goddamn liar. You were intentionally wasting my time with empty, false fucking promises. Empty fucking words. Bullshit. Hold your head high. Hold your head high. Fuck you. Hundreds of people helped the Bollingers. They helped the Bollingers how I needed. The only difference being that they were dishonest and I told the fucking truth. Fuck the police. Fuck the Bollingers and fuck you too. If you're a soldier, I hope a black person punches you in the throat. Because you fucking deserve it. Even if you're a black soldier, you're fighting for the people who are killing the poor. That includes most minorities. Most minorities in the United States live below the poverty line. But you want to pretend that because your upper middle class ass didn't have to go through that and wasn't exposed to that black people deserve it. They fucking don't. Colin Kaepernick does not deserve to be punched in the throat for standing up for his human rights. For your human rights. The rights that he took a knee for. Those are white people's rights too. Do you not realize that? And yeah, I paid my predators. I paid the police for assaulting me. I paid the judges for lying to me. I paid the Bollingers with the time of my life. I paid them in taking abuse after abuse after abuse. I tried to show them the truth. I gave Rochelle Shelley Campbell access to my email and to my Facebook. She never took a look. The next day, she made that pocket dial to make it seem like she was being hurt. She had just talked to me on the phone the night before about how she was afraid of Ted, how afraid she was of Ted. At that point, I didn't know how to record it and hadn't figured out how. It wasn't until quite a few months later that I started recording it with my computer and talking on the phone because I didn't know how to make the phone record. And I still can't if I'm making a telephone call. Cara Mia should have come forward. And she did in Facebook groups. The law wouldn't take her word. Now she wants to play victim. She wants to say stuff like, I just want to distance myself from all the drama. God damn it, woman, you were most of the drama. You and Kara Johnson Miles and Sarah Victoria Funderburg and Adam Klein. And Layla, Missy, her mom lady, Johnson, Doonan, whoever. You guys were the fucking drama. You were the go-betweens. You were the telephone game. When it should have been me, an arbiter, and the people who were accusing me of this shit. I should have been, at some point in the last 2.5 years, I should have been allowed to confront my accusers. I was never allowed to do that. Unlike this woman, Teresa Massilia, who talks about it, about how they didn't collect evidence in that one situation where she was raped. The police did that to me repeatedly. Repeatedly. It's what they do. It's what the police do. And Miss Teresa Massilia, the stuff that she was talking about, it's all the stuff that I was talking about before Natalie died. Before this woman was raped. Before I even had a Facebook. She talks about the officers being transferred to other departments after doing the terrible things that they do. And she's right about that. But they also transfer the prisoners. They repeatedly transferred me out of county so that they could refuse to take a report from me. It's out of jurisdiction, out of jurisdiction. Meanwhile, I've proved that Officer Lolatai, his intent, things that he does. Meanwhile, a lot of people are like, Sean, I was going to help you, but you fucking scream at people and run everybody off. No, they run themselves off by not keeping their fucking word. All of these people that I screamed at, I was justified in doing so. Every one of them. Is Miss Peaches a bad person? No, she just didn't understand to begin with. And now that it's too late, she's actually kind of backtracking. She's going, you're right. Because I was right, I know. And she said, I'm sorry, I just didn't understand at the time. And I already knew that too. See, the things that these people told me, I posted up on YouTube and on Facebook about these things before these people ever did them. I understand human nature. I've seen it my whole life. I've seen how minorities are treated, how kids in the system are treated, how the homeless are treated. And I understand why people are in those positions. Meanwhile, you guys make your excuses based on bias. You don't bother to look it up. You just believe whatever your daddy tells you. Or in the South, as they say it, it's just what their granddaddy taught them. Jeff Ritter is a piece of shit. World class and first class. At some point in time, I should have been allowed a safe place. I should have been allowed to make a police report against Ken and Leah. I should have been able to do it in person. I should have been able to show evidence. These officers refused to collect it. Just like they did here in Tacoma. I recorded that officer. That officer should have considered, all three of those officers should have been considering that I might be recording the phone call and the things that they were saying were illegal. They should have talked to the people in Starbucks, but they didn't. The people in Starbucks offered to call, but didn't. So all my money goes to paying people who rip me off. That young woman who I helped out with a telephone and a ride to the bus station and letting her stay in my vehicle last night. If the cops had done their jobs, I wouldn't have been able to help her out. She would have been in jail. You say it's my fault for letting her use the phone. With all due respect, kindness is not a fault. And other people's decisions are not my fault. You can't blame me for Maddie's decision to lie, or Alicia's decision to lie. You can't blame me for Officer Lolatai's decision to assault me. You can't blame me for the things that the police did to me, because they made a conscious decision to play judge and jury instead of doing their job and taking a fucking statement. Katie Cahill, you're a fucking worthless piece of shit. You typed a lot of pretty fucking words, but you had no follow-through. See, that's why I don't trust you. Kara Johnson Miles did the same thing. Kara Johnson Miles and Cara Mia did the exact same thing that Katie Cahill did. So did Danica Garner. So did Rochelle Shelley Campbell. They all gave their words, but didn't keep them. But they talked nice. I wanted to believe them. But when you don't keep your word, yeah, you're not worth a fuck. I want Katie Cahill in prison too. I want Lexi Woods in prison. I want Maverick in prison. I want Jeff Ritter in prison. I want these people in prison because they didn't come forward with the truth. They should have. It's been over a year and a half since Natalie died. Jeff Ritter still has not made a statement or even tried. I have to get a lawyer in order to get him to do that. And I need him to do that in order to get a lawyer. I need to show the truth, which means that witnesses need to speak up. Jeff's job is supposed to be to help people like me, not harm them. He has evidence that should have been presented in court. Jeff Ritter should have been requisitioned and present in my court dates, all of them. Because in all of those court dates, these officers tried pretending that I wasn't trying to get help, and Jeff Ritter knows better.